السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعاني فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. صدق الله العظيم وصدق مولانا النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك ومن الشاهدين ومن الشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. This is from Surah Baqarah. It is said, when my servants ask you about me, then tell them I am near. This is talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I respond to the call of one when he prays to me. So they should respond to me and have faith in me, so that they may be on the right path. So many times in society, many times within our own minds, within our own homes, we lose hope and we become downtrodden, we become saddened. And we even forget about or lose sight of the mercy and the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It even happens to people who are very religious, it happens to scholars, imams, you name it, it happens to everybody. This is the human nature, that people will become saddened by things. We have to try to keep a positive attitude to the best of our abilities and capabilities. Sometimes financial difficulties cause this to happen, that a person may be going through a tough time. Maybe some emergency expense came up, some surgery needed to happen and insurance couldn't cover it, or this person didn't have insurance and he's going through a tough time. Or maybe a child is sick and they have to dig into the savings and they don't have that much left. So it really tries us. It really tries each and every individual. Sometimes we may have to cut back on our expenses. Sometimes we may have to even, plan out our trips, that whether I should be going to the grocery store twice a week or just buy double the groceries if I can afford them once a week, to just save that $10 on gas to go and come. We may have to, many of us have, ethnic backgrounds and we may eat certain types of ethnic food. We may have to cut back on those things due to the expense associated with it. Right now, for example, the prices of groceries are almost 3 times as much as they were about 3-4 years ago. And it's hurting a lot of people. So it really puts people through a tough phase and it puts them through a tough time, ourselves included. You will see other people going on vacations, enjoying luxuries, while you have to eat simple food. You may be eating, as we were talking before, like khichdi or dal chawal, a simple meal like rice and lentils or something like that, or yellow rice or something like that, just to make it past, the next few weeks so you can save some money. You may have to tell your kids you can't buy them certain things which they were expecting because you may not have the financial capability. But this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in Surah Talaq it said, لِيُنْفِقْ ذُو سَعَةٍ مِّن سَعَتِهِ وَمَنْ قُدِرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقُهُ فَلْيُنْفِقْ مِمَّا آتَاهُ اللَّهُ لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا مَا آتَاهَا سَيَجْعَلُ اللَّهُ بَعْدَ عُسْرِ يُسْرًا. A man of vast means should spend according to his vast means. And anyone whose sustenance is limited should spend from whatever Allah has given to him. Allah makes no one liable beyond what He has given to him. Allah will soon bring ease after a difficulty. Allah will soon bring ease after a difficulty. And many times when these difficulties occur, it is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, preparing us for the next big test which will be upcoming. There's something in society, it's called the burnt toast theory. It's very simple. What the burnt toast theory says is, something as small as burning your toast in the morning could have ended up saving your life or allowing something better to happen to you. We already have this concept in Islam, but let me explain it from a concept of non-Muslims. That, let's say one day you put toast in the toaster and by accident you forgot to change it from the bagel setting. When you cook a bagel in the toaster, you have to put it on a higher setting to cook it. You forgot this, and what happened is when you put the piece of bread in there, it got burnt. Now when this got burnt, you're like, oh man, it's 5 more minutes. So you take the piece of bread out, you throw it away, you put another one in, or you throw it to the birds, whatever the case may be. You put this next one in. Now this next 3 to 5 minutes caused you to be delayed. And when it caused you to be delayed, what happened is, there was an accident which happened on the path you normally go on, and this is normally the stoplight you stop at that point in time. Every single day at 7:30, 9 a.m. you stop at the stoplight every single day because you have figured it out to, like clockwork, when you're supposed to get to work. right? You don't walk in even a minute early. You don't let your boss get any enjoyment out of that. So you walk in right at 7:59. You know the journey is 30 minutes, whatever. So because of this, burnt toast, you got delayed by 5 minutes, and now you didn't make it to work on time. You're 5 minutes late. Your boss didn't mind. He's okay with it. But you avoided this accident. It could have been your car. So this is the idea, this is the theory. Right? So in the same way, whenever anything good or bad happens to us, we should only think that there must be some wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within this certain action happening, which caused me not to be able to make it on time, or to be delayed, or whatever the case may be. That whenever anything happens, whether it's big or small, we should always thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we don't know the outcome. So Anas radiallahu anhu reported, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I am delighted by optimism, the good word, the kind word. And this is from Sahih Muslim. So we should always try to remain optimistic as we can in any case and in any situation. A lot of times we may be overtaken by the things which are going on around us, and we may become saddened. We may become overburdened by what we're thinking. But honestly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always looking out for us. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there are no omens, but the best of it is optimism. They said, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what is optimism? The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a righteous word one of you hears. So let's say one of our brothers, one of our friends is going through a tough time. First of all, you want to lend your ear, hear them out, right? The first thing you shouldn't do is start offering them advice. First, hear them out and see how they're feeling. See how they're feeling. Let them be heard. Let them feel like they're a human being and they have feelings and they have ideas and they have legitimate concerns. You hear them out. And then, based on that, it may take you a little while longer. You may need to take some more time to process everything that's being said to you, and then offer some words of optimism. You don't have to tell them, oh yeah, you're a loser, you lost your job. No, that's not how you talk to people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something better in store for you. You may have lost this job, but trust me, the next job you get will be even better. And in a lot of cases, this happens for people. I know an individual, he lost his job and he was very disturbed. Right? He lost his job and he was very disturbed, very upset. He just had a kid, he bought a new car, he bought a new house, everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned this man into a multimillionaire. And I've known him for over 15 years. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned him into a multimillionaire. He went from losing a job, at that time he probably got paid like 30, 35,000. Now he's living in a nice $1 million house, he has nice cars and everything. At that time I asked him sometime, like, at that time when you lost the job, did you think that you would end up in so much luxury? He said, I never thought that. He's like, all I was thinking was, I lost my job, what's going to happen with me? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned this lost job into a multi-million-dollar business for him. So this is why, even if we lose a job, even if our business suffers some loss, maybe for a period of 3 to 5, even 10 years, we'll go through a lot. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always turns things around for us. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن ينصركم الله فلا غالب لكم وإن يخذلكم فمن ذا الذي ينصركم من بعده وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps you, there is none to overcome you. And if He abandons you, then who is there to help you after that? In Allah, the believers should place their trust, and this is from Surah Ali Imran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always looking out for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always knows what's best for us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always, even through our trials and tribulations, even through our tests, He is with us. And the people, the awam, the public, should know this, should acknowledge this. And if one of their brothers is going through a hard time, we should be in their corner as well. We shouldn't abandon them. If they've done something bad or something egregious, we should also be there for them and help them out through this mistake. If we're not there to help them out, imagine if you make a mistake. Imagine if something bad happens to you due to your own fault or decision making, and everybody abandons you. How would this make you feel? Would this make you feel really good? Oh look, what a great person I am. I helped everybody for all these years, and now I made one mistake. Yes, it was a mistake, but now everybody has abandoned me. It takes you to an even lower level. And you know, at that point, when somebody is at that low level, there's always somebody waiting to swoop in with ill intentions, looking at this person's innocence, and they swoop in and they take them down the wrong path. Maybe it's some haram business. Maybe it's some haram employment. Maybe it's some haram dealings with people. Or maybe it's even a haram relationship. This is why we should always be there for each other. And this is why the Sahaba were there for each other. And the Sahaba are like our guiding stars. We look to them and see what they did, how they helped each other out, and then we try to follow that example. We don't try to follow some TikToker or some YouTuber or somebody like this. These are not our examples. These are not our Salafus Salih. These are not our pious predecessors. If you hear a nice reminder from somebody on one of these apps like the TikTok or YouTube or something like that, just listen to the reminder, right? That's it. Don't take that person as your guide. You don't know what's going on the other side of that phone screen. You don't know who that individual is. You don't know what kind of lifestyle they lead. These days you find out about so many of these social media individuals who are leading double lifestyles. Because they make money off of social media, they give these great reminders. But on the other side, they're involved in all sorts of haram. So we should be very careful. First of all, who we seek advice from. And then second of all, who we take as our guide after we take that advice. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was optimistic. He did not see evil omens and he liked good names. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, verily thinking well about Allah Almighty is a part of the excellent worship of Allah. So we should always believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in our corner. Always know that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always looking out for us. There's so many stories of so many Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, so many prophets who went through such difficulties that we couldn't go through such difficulties, but they never forgot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't have even maybe like 10% or 1% of what we have, like the lives we lead. As far as, we wouldn't even call it luxury, like a middle class lifestyle, but they didn't even have 10% of that. But they never faltered and they never lost faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were always optimistic that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking out for them, and they were always optimistic that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do for them what is best for them. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq, may He give us a better understanding, and may He forgive us for our sins of omission and commission. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursaleen, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.